Originally, my plan for this video was to have live commentary over gameplay clips for the duration of the video, but the microphone audio didn't record, so this is post-commentary of a similar format. This was going to be a tier list style video, but after some consideration, I'm going to give WatchMojo/BuzzFeed style scores out of 10 for each game, with clips of gameplay and a description of each. The website that these games are sourced from already gives a score out of 5 for each of these games, however, this score is aggregated and doesn't make considerations for individual taste. And some of the game jams have too few participants on the player side, so some games in some game jams are simply unrated. A link to these games and many more can be found in the description of this video. Also, unless otherwise stated, each of these games is playable in your internet browser. First up is a game that I won't show much gameplay from at all because spoiler potential is high. It's called Trail of Secrets. It's a puzzle platformer with somewhat loose controls and a fun gimmick where you're tasked with finding all the possible endings. As mentioned, gameplay from this game is too spoiler heavy, so I'll leave it up to you as to whether or not you want to play it, with a total playtime of around 10 to 15 minutes and an overall score of 8. Second Hand is a one-handed typing game where you're tasked with typing letters on your keyboard in a timed environment to complete secret handshakes with cult members to win a free couch. The gameplay loop starts simple and becomes significantly more challenging. With a playtime of around 20 minutes, this game is refreshingly brief, even considering the challenge towards the end, and I rate this game a 7. Up next is a game in a foreign language. It's download only. I didn't download it. I don't intend to play it. I don't speak this language. Play it if you want. No rating. Next game is called Aurora. This game also requires a download, however, is in English, presumably translated from another language, with some subtitles appearing in the wrong language. A horror-themed point-and-click adventure game in the style of some late 90s computer games. Opening cutscenes are not skippable. Interaction with objects is slightly clunky, and objectives are not always obvious, but if you like games like this, give it a try. The Trial of Wazdo is a tile-based puzzle game about using your movement to cast spells. See, it says so right there. Fun and brief with an easy-on-the-eyes aesthetic, but a few quirks with diagonal movement, 7 out of 10. The Secret Scoffer of Saffron Walden has a rather obnoxious art style and takes forever to load in my browser. I did not play it. No rating. Untitled Dungeon Crawler is a mouse-only dungeon crawler where each action is one click. Extremely simple with little active engagement. I can't reasonably give this game more than a 6, with the note that while the concept and execution is not awful, the balance swings wildly in either direction, and there is not much to digest beyond shop choices and enemy selection. Shuffle Macabre is a deduction game where you must identify a killer based on their known behaviors and the behaviors of those around them before they kill too many others. Cute concept, simply executed and made well enough that I spent around 30 minutes playing it in total, going back to play more after I was done recording this footage with a reasonable replayability of around an hour and a minimum playtime of around 10 minutes to experience all it has to offer. One strange quirk about this game is that the detective rating can be increased by pressing the up arrow on the keyboard, but this doesn't really seem to do much, as having more than 50 detective rating causes the detective rating to return to 50 after round-end calculations. This game is an example of a pick-up-and-play style, so with the understanding that it lacks the depth or story of other detective games, I'll give it a 6.5. Museum Survivit, or Survive It, is a short puzzle game with a brief stealth section in an artistic style similar to Don't Starve. Of all the games so far, this game feels the most like a demo or tutorial for a larger product, with simple objectives and a 3-act structure that introduces the player to the playground before tasking them with solving a few puzzles and finally escaping. With a total playtime of less than 10 minutes, I gave this game a 6 out of 10. Any further information would spoil a significant portion of the game. The Search for the Secret Sapphire is a third and fourth wall breaking puzzle game with a little bit of second and first wall breaking thrown in for good measure. If you're a fan of new takes on old Flash games and puzzles, then I highly recommend giving this game a playthrough. With a playtime of around 30 minutes, this is the most fully fledged game on this list, and a complete experience that I rate an 8.5 out of 10.